Rinu, it is great to finally be in conversation with you.
It's an honor. It's an DeVay.
Oh, Rinu. I'm excited to talk to you because I have so much to learn. Maybe we'll both start with like, how did you get to this work? Like, what was how did you even start to doing issues around policing?
Okay. Um, let's say I've always been a coconut head. I don't know if you understand what that means, but I've always been quite stubborn. That's what it means. Yeah, in Nigeria we have this slang called the coconut head generation. Literally means people that are very stubborn. So I've always been very stubborn, and for me, right from my teens, I've been this person that I wouldn't stand by when injustice is going on. I don't know if you get it. Like I'm just always picking up from literally the smallest things to the biggest things. My mom is always scared that I might probably get myself in trouble one day due to my mouth. Like I'm always stuck here. You can't cheat me. Let's just say you can cheat me. You can cheat my friends. You can cheat my schoolmates.
I love
I
it.
literally I literally fought with the principal of my school, of my high school. Then like, oh no, you can't do this to us. So that has always been me, and it's no surprise that I decided to also stand up against police brutality because this has always been an issue with us in Nigeria. I didn't just start. It has been a recurring issue, but especially for SARS. SARS was formed in 1992, and it is this unit that was supposed to combat armed robbery and crimes in the country. But over the course of time, they regressed to this criminal and notorious unit known for extrajudicial killings, known for torture, known for extortion, known for brutality, known for harassment, for no just reason. They lack accountability. They're accountable to no one. And from 2016, Nigerians began to call for an end to this unit because things were just getting out of hand. They kill one person today. Next week, you heard they've killed another person. Uh, in a month, you've heard they've killed two in another state. And particularly, we have social media now, so we don't have to be in those states to know these things are actually happening. So everybody, these cases of violence get uploaded on social media, Twitter, Instagram every day, and we all get to see that the cost increased, and the Nigerian government will come back. They say, okay, they've heard us, they're going to start a reform or something. Then in little or no time, you have this SARS unit perpetrating violence somewhere else again. Then the costs increase. You have Nigerians saying EndSARS, EndSARS. Then the government say, okay, would offer some reforms to those unions to have them stop their illegal stop and search on the road. Then the cost will reduce. Then in the next few days, you have them doing something else. They practically lack accountability. This it's just like as you're calling, they'll promise you to calm down, and these tax officers will go somewhere else to do something else. That's been since 2016, 2017, 2018. In 2018, the federal government said, okay, they're going to ban units. That was it. That was a critical point. They told Nigerians that we're going to disband the unit, and this unit is going to be scrapped. So Nigerians calmed down, like, okay, something was going to happen. Then a few months later, these SARS operatives are still on the road, operating, killing people, torturing people, ex- doing all sorts of things, and because it increased. 2019, they were still on the road. 2020, we had the coronavirus, we had, economic issues and other. Then these people still continue. So it's just for me, I feel it's just too much for Nigerians to bear, and that's
Yeah, for me, it was the death of Mike Brown in 2014. That was what got me to the street. That was the thing that changed my life and so many people's lives. And it helped me understand that the police weren't just a terror in Baltimore, where I'm from. or in places like Ferguson, but that this was actually happening all across the country, and it, you know, it changed the mood of our country for sure. Did SARS, was there like one case that made it a big deal in the country, or was it sort of like, what was the spark for you all? Was it, or was it not sort of one thing? It was the accumulation. Like, you know, for us, it was, the protests have normally been around, like there have been one or two sort of killings that have gone national, and that sort of caused people to come to the street. Is that the same in Nigeria or no?
Okay, and still small, the second point you made, it was sort of accumulation because I didn't just organize this protest in October. The first one I got myself involved with was in June. Um, there was a girl that was killed, 16-year-old girl. Her name was Tina. She died as a result of a police officer, eventually discharging bullets into the air, and she got hit, died. So that was the a major point I can recall where everybody got angry. And as a social media influencer back then, I said, you know what, I just have to use my platform to call out to people to let's do something about it. Yes, the turnout was a little bit low. Then we were roughly 20, my friends, people on social media, roughly 20. We just came out. We went to the police headquarters. We submitted a letter and we said, we don't want this anymore. This is us saying we don't want this. And then I can recall that she's just treated lackadaisically, like probably the letter was shown under someone's table, and that has always been this. That has always been the case in Nigeria. We don't get proper attention to things that need attention at that moment. You just find some officer somewhere just saying, "What are these people saying? Rubbish." They just rubbish your case, and the process is so frustrated. So that was a major point I can recall. Then in October, we had this viral video trending of a young man that was shot and left on the road. His body was left on the road, and we saw police officers driving off with his car. That was that was the
Wow.
catalyst. Accumulation of everything happening, and that thing just happened, and I just said to myself, no, no, this is beyond, this is way out of line. Like, we need to do something. I think that was a catalyst to my hunger. That something needs to be done.
Wow, that's sort of wild. For us, it was, you probably saw the killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis changed a lot of people, like it was, we've had years of people being like, well, you're being dramatic, right? Like the police don't really do those things. You just are sensitive. And this isn't, and then you see one of these videos, like you said, I can't imagine seeing the police kill somebody and then they drive off with this car. You're like, that's everything we tried to tell y'all was happening. What have you, what has it been like to see so many people in the street, and are people still in the street? Like, did the government, I read on Twitter, and you tell me if this is true or not, that the government was freezing bank accounts where protesters were raising money. Like, has the government sort of fought you back? What does that look like?
Well, first it was, I'm 22, and I've not, you would say, have not really seen it much of things happening. So the protest happening right in front of me, something I actually had a major dealing to do with, was it was amazing for me. I never believed that Nigerian youth could come together to to achieve something that, in my wildest imaginations, it was not something I envisioned. Like, for us here in Nigeria, we've always been separated by tribe, we've been separated by religion. It's a lot different from other part of the world. For us here, it's like a do or die affair. We have terrorism to combat, we have tribal issues to combat, and there's always this separation among the young population of Nigeria. So when you find them coming together for a common cause to say, oh no, we're together in this, it's amazing. It's not a short of amazing. Like, it's surprising when you see people that usually fight each other on the slightest thing, and when it comes to police brutality, they say, no, we are together in this, we are one. It's not a short of amazing. So, but for the freezing of account and the cram down of the government, um, it's it's saddening, when you see they will actually tag terrorists, when you see people calling for government officials to actually do their job, and they turn around to, when they realize that power actually belongs to the people calling, they turn around to clamp down on those voices and turn it and say that the people that are actually protesting are actually threatening the peace of the state.
No, I get it. That is, that reminds me too of, I think about Ferguson in 2014, is that we certainly weren't all best friends, but you're right. We had one common battle, and that was the police. And like it sort of made everybody who might not have got along, we all got along in that moment because the police were so wild, like it's been sort of incredible. I'd also want to know, like, how do you feel? How is your safety? Like I got sued by a police officer. The Supreme Court just ruled on that case. My phone got hacked. I had to travel a lot so that I wouldn't be targeted. Uh, how, how, how have you maintained your own safety in this moment?
Well, I've had threats. I've had series, like several threats. I've had to leave home because I was actually scared of my family's safety. I didn't want whatever I got myself into to actually affect them. So I can't stay at home. I have to move in between places, friends, places, hotels, and all that. But there's this thing about me, I don't know if I can actually travel out of Nigeria right now because um I started a course that caused young Nigerians to actually wake up. This was more of an awakening for us. We're used to our voices being suppressed. We're used to our parents telling us that, oh no, don't talk so that you won't get shot. Don't do anything drastic. I mentioned earlier that my mom was always scared of me getting shot. So it was
Is she
for us
is she is she
young.
still scared? Is she still scared, or is she
I
more
mean,
chill?
very, very. She's just, that's always been it for us. Like, don't get into trouble because we've seen our parents believe that they've seen what violence or what evil the government can do, so they don't want that to come to their children. So they're always trying to suppress us. They're always trying to say, no, you shouldn't speak up. They're always trying to say, don't join that protest so you won't get shot. They're always trying to say, oh, if a police officer across you on the road, just pay them off so that you won't get into any trouble, so that they won't unleash any violence on you and like that. But EndSARS has it has broken a lot of mental chains that have kept us subdued, that has kept us defeated, that has kept us complacent for decades. Young Nigerians are never lazy. Opportunities seem to elude us due to political greed and lack of accountability. Do you understand? So for me, I don't know if it's harder for me to live right now, despite the threats. Yeah, because young Nigerians are now looking up to me to say, okay, we're looking at you, we're looking at your lead, we're looking at what you want to do. So it's hard for me because it's going to seem like a betrayal to them. So many have been calling for my safety, so many are worried, and lots of things are going on, lots of crazy things. But I'm telling them that I need to stand resolute. I need to stand my ground. Because if I don't, for the next 1 month, the next 2 months, if all this die down, Nigerians are going to lose that new found sense of hope that they've gotten, that, oh, they can actually stand up to voice out, they can actually stand up to ask for accountability.
I think that's real. My family was really nervous for a long time too. I think my father is still pretty nervous, but he tries not to spread that nervousness to me, which I appreciate. And it is a hard time. There are a lot of people who are rightly angry, and people who are angry and want solutions. People will tell you anything. They want you to come to a million meetings and talk your head off. And then you're like, well, what's going to change? And then, it's a lot of the same old, same old. So I hope that this is different. It feels a little different to me. 2014 for us, people weren't convinced this was a problem across the country. They thought this was in pockets. By 2020, people are like, okay, like this is a problem everywhere. I do think people are still trying to figure out what solutions are. So one of the last things I'll ask is, what's your advice to people whose hope is challenged in this moment? I think that you must know a lot of people who came out in the street, they protested, they fought back against the police, and then they're like, well, what changed, right? They're like, but it hasn't changed the way we want it to. What do you say to those people who are sort of nervous or who are anxious or who need advice right now?
This is hard, but despite of threats, you need to stand your ground, because if we don't, the generation that is coming after us, they're going to suffer a lot. And we practice like democracy here in Nigeria, and I always say that you cannot be grateful for a democracy where lives are being lost just for sympathy. So even if it costs you anything, keep speaking up. It doesn't matter. This all shrouded immunity that government officials seem to have is nothing. We are the people. The power belongs to the people, and the power is in your voice. If you keep it suppressed, if you keep it on the chains, if you keep it on the wraps, you're not going to do your world any good. You have to just keep, wherever you are and whatever you do.
I think that's right. Yeah, my advice too would be that you got to start somewhere, right? That like, I think that people get worried. And I love when you said that the first protest was 20-ish people, right? Because sometimes people think that like the only successful thing is a million people in the street. And you're like, no, it almost always starts with like a handful of people, like a set of people who take the first step, and then people join in around that. And like you can't be afraid to do the first thing. This was really helpful. I learned a ton. And I'm hopeful that there will be more people all across the world fighting back, because Lord knows there's a lot that we need to push on. This was an honor to talk to you and learn from you. If there's anything I can ever do, please let me know. And hopefully one day I'll make it to Nigeria. I've never been, and I can't wait for COVID to be over, so that we can all see each other in person again.
Thank you very much for this. Okay.
I love it.